Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday, June 27th, 2017, and thought I was gonna have a good intro that time, but camera was misaligned. What did you pick up over there? Oh, it's catching the ball on my water ball. Here. Alright. Looked like a trash can, but there wasn't one over there. Anyway, speaking of screwing up the intro, let's get started. So, this is our, game code. Or I gotta turn down the volume. Had it pumped up a little bit for the intro. So we're gonna be adding some decorations to the mesh, to the level. Some more decorations. Probably today I'm gonna do the fountain because yesterday we did the bridge. Still really don't know what I'm gonna do with the castle though, or the cathedral. Gotta do the lights as well. Once again, the build didn't succeed, so our lighting has not been calculated. You know what? Before we do anything, let's try doing that right now and then save it. And see if, as soon as we relaunch the editor, if that helps the saving process. Because the problem is that sometimes when we save our map, the data cache doesn't want to save. I've been looking up on it and didn't really get much good answers for why I could be doing that. Oops. Let's close that down. Let's see there. Thankfully, it wasn't anything important. But yeah, it was a notification from the place I work, but it was just they're just talking about power bills and for coin mining and everything, so not a big deal. Wasn't anything NDA, thankfully. If so, I would have had to restart the stream. So I've been given a link for Pepsi Fire. I don't know what that is. Might be American only. A lot of things that are released in the States aren't released in Canada. Oh, Coke, Pepsi with cinnamon? Interesting. And Mir says that's why I said they can find it, yeah. Whoops. Nope. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's available in Canada. Oh. Yeah. It helps if I actually showed it on monitor. As long as available, okay, it's just a Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, Pepsi Zero next. Wild Cherry Lime and Diet Lime. No 1893 either, no. You have to import it from the States. And at that point, what's the point? I mean, it's, you know, but yeah. Nope, they don't do that for Canada. I heard it was really good, the Pepsi 1893 kind of premium stuff, but nope, not in Canada. At some point, I'm really gonna want to mess with the material of all of these and actually have it like have tiles be in like blocks. Makes you sad, yeah. Have like tiles be in blocks and then having the material whether something's enabled or disabled. What's the exclamation, exclamation, exclamation for Amir? No, Mir. Don't go send a care package, it's fine. Oh, did I tell a story about the time I went to San Francisco? And the Coca-Cola? Not sure if I did. No? Okay. It's a hilarious story. So while we're waiting for lighting to build, so, years ago, it was May 2015, I believe, I was flown down to San Francisco for the Carrizo launch for AMD. It was a fairly small group of people. It was supposed to be Ryan, but he couldn't go for various reasons, so he sent me there instead. And we had, you know, a couple days of keynotes and talked with people. I talked with Jim Keller before he left. I also talked with Joe Macri and a couple other people as well. A very interesting event, especially since with the with the well, their messaging for that one was if you send it, then actually just as Joe was saying the entire time, if you send an engineer to like if you give an engineer a problem short of like time travel, they will solve it. If you give an engineer the same problem again, they will solve it better. His job, as he said, was giving engineers the right problems to solve. And that was kind of the messaging they were having for their part. The message being that they were given, like, you know, we want to have a part for 35 watts, want to do this, want to do that, want to do that. And they just tuned it really, really well by just going over their assumptions, changing their IP blocks, things like that. And that was kind of their messaging of like, we, you know, took this part and we made it as good as we could, right? And we end up getting performance on par with like a die shrink at the same 28 nanometer. So all that aside, so when I got there, there was two possible flights from here to, well, set of flights from here to San Francisco. One of them leaves at like 6:30 in the morning, so I had to get up at like 5. And one of them would get there late, get there at like 11 o'clock at night. But it would leave in the afternoon, so, you know. Even though I'm not a morning person, I chose the morning flight because it would get there at like 1. So if I, worst comes to worst, I just sleep in a hotel until, people arrive like at 5. So I get there and, still kind of running on adrenaline. I didn't really sleep all that well, but whatever. Decided now let's just, go and, there's a Starbucks across the street. There's actually 3 Starbucks on that block. Let's just go and, get get something like that and go to the Walgreens, buy the, stuff you don't want to bring across the customs, like deodorant and stuff like that. Just cheap little stuff that you can just pick up and throw away and like leave in the hotel when you leave. Because people are going to be arriving like 4 hours later. I was like 4 hours before everyone, including AMD. So, that said, I went to the Walgreens and I bought, various things, and then I went back to room and set it up, and then I went back to Walgreens for something. I think did 2 trips that time. And, sorry, it was autosave. And, I decided to go and buy myself a drink, right? Had the Starbucks, but afterwards, buy a drink. So I went to the pop fridge, and I saw, plastic bottle pop, and I picked one up, and I looked, and there was a glass bottle ones. And you don't have those really in Canada, the ones that are imported back from Mexico. And so I bought 2 of them, and I'm like, well, this is, once in a lifetime thing for me, because this is the first time I've been in the States, right? Actually, currently it's been the only time I've been in the States. Apart from, before elementary school, toddler, going like 3 kilometers across the border for something, right? I think we went like, 20 minutes across the border into like Maine at one point when I was an infant to buy something or whatever. But apart from that, it was like the only time I left Canada. So I bring it back to my hotel room. Don't have a bottle opener. You can see where this is gonna end up. So I'm like, oh, what do I do? Oh, I can, I got a spare key for my car, the valet key. So let's open it. So I kind of did that kind of, thumb thing where you pop the key, and I popped it open. Cut myself in the process, so there was blood, quite a bit of blood and spilled pop all over the place, because the first time you do anything, including using a valet key to open a pop-top soda, sometimes things don't go right, but whatever. So I cleaned all that up, kind of felt bad, but regardless. And I'm like, alright, first time having a glass bottle of Coke, let's see how it tastes. So I take a sip. I'm like, wow, this actually tastes noticeably different. A little flat though. So I continue drinking. Yeah, pretty flat, kind of good though. And I look at the bottle. Now, apparently they have been known, I'm not sure about this, but apparently it's been known that, bottles have been reused, so it might have been, just a label that was old, but, I'm not sure how long it's been at Walgreens, but, this was in 2015, it said copyright 2003. So I drank, 12-year-old Coke, potentially, right? Yeah. It tasted a little bit like it, too. Now, the end of this story is, remember I said I bought 2 bottles? I drank the second one too. Because why not? I already had it, right? It was good enough, right? Probably wasn't the smartest idea, but I did. And we're almost ready for the light map. There we are. 99%. Importing, encoding. And then hopefully saving, because if not, we're going to have some problems, because we need to save the light maps after they're built, right? Even though it's not been letting us lately. Okay. Moment of truth. Am I gonna get an error? Saving acid build data. Looks like it's fine. Nope. I can't go on without, you know, getting new light maps, so I have to figure out what's going on. Oh, build data, sorry. One PF there for 10 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on my webcam. It didn't say I dropped any frames, so it could have just been because Unreal Engine drops down its frame rate when it's not focused to save performance. So it could have been Unreal Engine just throttling itself. But if it's like webcam 2, then that would just be lockup. So yeah. Yeah, no. It's not the case here.
Don't look back. I know you feel like you're losing track. I know your heart bleeds. Don't lose your mind. Just let it be, let it be. Know you're dying inside.
I think it started happening when we placed the waterfall thing, so maybe there's something wrong with that. No, it'd be movable. Well, this is a very big issue because if we can't save our light maps, then, well, we can't have static lighting in our level. Yep, that's true. You know, let's try to do a map check. I know it runs automatically, but where is it again? Oh, there. Every once if I want to extend it out, one each on the top to make a bit of a rim. Probably not though. I mean, I'm not going to before the demo because that's a small change and make me have to re-UV it, which is small but still. So let's check here. So I have a light math importance volume, right? Or did that get destroyed somehow? Yeah, here. Maybe I'll actually shrink it a little bit. Let's do 5,000. 5,000. It's possible my light mass importance volume is just way too big. Which, I mean, shouldn't be the case because we're not having any problems building it. Hey, welcome back to chat, Big O. This is gonna fail, probably. Or not. Okay. Well, problem solved. Yeah. So weird. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna work on the fountain today. So we need one that's 2x2. Each is 300. So 6 meters by 6 meters. How what? How did I solve it? I didn't. I just tried again and it worked. Right, 1 second while I grab. Let's do decoration base. There we are. And now we can go here. In object mode, just delete. Yeah, there we are. Add cube. So 6 meters by 6 meters by. Let's do 2 meters. Sure, why not? 1 meter up. Then we'll do reset that and reset that. Let's go a little bit smaller. We'll do it in edit mode, I guess. Yeah, I'll go a little bit smaller. And then here, select the face, do inset faces. And we'll do let's do 50 centimeters actually. So we're gonna extrude down -1 meter. So that way it's gonna be you know, yeah. So we're going to do another inset faces. And this one's going to be, I think, 2 meters? Yeah. Maybe it's a little much. No, that'd be good. So I think this would be 1 meter wide. Yeah. So then, first off, why are you not -50? Why was there a little bit of rounding on you? Or I did it again. Where I saved over that. And then do inset faces, and thickness is 25 centimeters. Oh, what am I doing? So now this is going to have to be done a little bit differently than the other ones. So I'm going to have 2 materials. New, we're gonna call it 50 centimeters, and then new, we're gonna call this one 25 centimeters. So we're gonna assign, we're going to here, then select none, go grab you, and you, and assign you to 25 centimeters. So now, select none. Select the 50 centimeters will be here. Let's select the 25 centimeters will be here. And the idea behind that is that this will be 50 centimeter cube, so this will be one wall width here, but inside here will be one width here. And then we're going to have little 25 centimeter tiles up here. It's going to pop up like it's found. I'm hoping to actually reuse the waterfall assets, just pointing them upwards. regardless, save as. Small fountain. Now I need to, oh, sorry. We're gonna big guy drivers, cards and nets today. So, yeah. So Big O, for Linux users, the kernel people, like, you know, Linus Torvalds and stuff like that, don't really like it because it's proprietary, but a lot of gamers tend to like the Linux drivers of NVIDIA because they just perform better, usually. That is the stereotype, at least. I'm not sure if it's changed since then, but yeah. Well, so here's one of the things. So they're having a bit of debate on the chat of like people who say that play proprietary games. There is some merit to, you know, proprietary versus open, and it does matter where in the stack you are. How computer software is made, no one can make everything from scratch. Everyone has to rely upon language set aside by other people, right? And that language is where the copyrights tend to get into issue. So like at a very, 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 very bare metal, you have like the instruction sets like ARM, x86, and so forth. Literally the bare metal, the metal that makes up the chunk of reality that we are storing state upon and processing state with, right? Sorry about cough there. But, how do I say this? So you have that level, and I wish I was a lot more open than it was, but, you know, x86 is locked down in various ways, mostly patents. And then you have the next layer of operating systems, which is like, you know, Windows kernel, Linux, and so forth. And then you go down to like, you know, libraries like Qt, like, you know, if you want to consider OpenGL and stuff like that, APIs, sure, that's probably on the same level. Qt's actually probably a little bit below that, but regardless. And then it goes down to middleware like Unreal Engine and so forth. Then it goes down to the actual games. As you go further down the stack, or let's think backwards. As you go further up and up the stack, you start requiring more and more openness because you are dictating terms for everyone below you, right? So if you have a proprietary operating system, then or components that are required for an operating system to be proprietary, then everything that relies upon it, you are dictating terms down to. So if you're considering a game that is proprietary, the only thing that, you know, you're holding is the game itself and the experiences the users have with it, the save games and so forth, going down downstream from the game's level. At what point are you going to be okay with proprietary versus not? I'd argue, like, when you start going up to the operating system level, because of how much art and content is reliant upon the decisions you make and the legal barriers you put up, or even technical barriers in some cases, like with the, you know, app signing and so forth, developer signing. As you go up, then you're going to be starting to limit the amount of freedom and expression that people downstream can have. Like, let's say you make a console and your operating system is completely proprietary, and then a game let's say, even worst case scenario, a game with DRM and thus encryption and thus a felony to break. The MCA is hazy about whether content in public domain, whether breaking the DRM on it is still a felony, because you're breaking encryption, which is legal under the MCA, but it's for something not covered by the MCA mark instead of copyright, so kind of goes back and forth. A lot of lawmakers actually say it is still a felony, so therefore the copyright term never actually ends, because in order to get to the copyrighted content, you have to commit a felony. But then there's other people who say that may not be the case. The problem is the way it's written, it kind of suggests that it is the case, but a judge needs to actually rule that way. And if a judge rules, this is public domain content, why would I charge this person with a felony for accessing public domain content, right? In that case, and first off, that assumes we can never break the DRM, which so far has been 100%, have a 100% success rate. Eventually, we might make a DRM that's not breakable, not without massive amounts of computing power. Hey, Sean, welcome to the chat. So there is that kind of issue. So let's say we have something that's illegal and a felony to de-encrypt and so forth. Then the nature of the content is reliant upon the console manufacturer, which may not exist anymore, right, at some point. And therefore, what happens to the art? It may disappear, because unless the original owner ports it to a different platform, the platform it depends upon doesn't want to support it anymore. It may not even exist anymore, right? And therefore, that art just goes away. And that is kind of tragic, because then if you look at a lot of the, let's say, great works of literature, some of the earlier works of film, or some of the great works of film, Hitchcock and whoever else, that sort of stuff doesn't have a shelf life of 4 years, and a shelf life of 40, 400 years, right? Like Shakespeare. We are tying ourselves to canvases and paints that are set to expire, right? So in that case, that is one benefit of Linux, in that they use their copyright rights to perpetuate, to allow society to port, to mess with the layers to make sure the art's down upstream or downstream can always be supported, assuming someone actually cares. If it's Barbie horse racing 2003, maybe someone will care, maybe not. If it's name a very influential work of art, Shakespeare or whatever, the video game equivalent of Shakespeare, or the video interactive experience of Shakespeare or whatever, equivalent of Shakespeare, then maybe someone will try to save it, and with Linux, you are allowed to. Windows was pretty open. Since Windows 8, they've been kind of flirting with, not kind of flirting, they've been shoving the issues of app certification and developer certification, which basically means that not only do you need to have encryption, be certified to install, but you also have to be certified to even make. That's a concern, especially if you're, a dissident in a country that has a oppressive government, and you are making content that the government doesn't want to show. Then that could be a problem, because the government goes to Microsoft and they tell Microsoft, don't let the person have a key, and Microsoft has to say yes, or I'm not working in your country anymore. Either way, the artist can't express himself. Now, Microsoft wants to do it, and you see Tim Sweeney talk about it a lot of times when he talks about it in terms of them trying to shove Windows Store and, money and so forth. I think personally that it's more Microsoft has been crapped upon for decades about being the malware thing, and also at around the Windows 8 time as well, ARM was picking up, and Microsoft wants a platform where as minimal effort as possible, apps can be ported from one architecture to another. Ideally just work, potentially with a recompile, it would work, and so forth. Maybe a couple of tweaks here and there. So that's kind of why I think that's kind of why they're pushing it. They want to make it so that bad things can't happen, and hardware can be portable. But I mean, if they also allow it to be abused, either by a government and, you know, for a political dissident, or by Microsoft in 40 years with a completely different set of you know, executives and so forth, or Microsoft in 100 years, it's entirely possible that people then could misuse the technical and legal framework they're given to lock down art and so forth. That's a problem. And then we look at things like iOS, which are doing what which did what Microsoft wants to do, so they're already there. And then so forth, right? So there's some problems with that. As for drivers, I mean, it would be nice for open source drivers to have more help from like NVIDIA and all these other companies. I don't know what the state is at the moment, but I know that in the past, a lot of these companies haven't really helped the, you know, Nuvo or whoever else do compatible implementations, which would allow that layer that NVIDIA is involved with to have potentially more compatibility. That being said, NVIDIA has been doing a pretty good job apparently by themselves anyway, so there is that trade-off either way. Like going back to the initial part of the discussion, the main thing is that you have to think about where in the stack it is. As you go higher and higher up in the stack, you know, towards the operating system level or higher, then openness really matters because you're controlling what people can do with art. Down at the art level, that was the artist's choice, right? Now, if an person does something that's relevant for society, at what point does society limit the limited exclusivity we grant them, as in IP, because it's not property, but anyway. There's that back and forth, but that's a big discussion. Let's get back to work. People say legacy is Microsoft's downfall. I don't... Legacy is what is keeping Microsoft from forcing developers to have app certificates and so forth. Windows 8, they could just rammed it down people's throat, but they realized that if they would ram it down people's throat, the amount of content that Windows would have would be whatever's in the Windows Store. SteamOS has a lot more content than what's in the Windows Store. So, that's a problem for them. So what's keeping Microsoft from, you know, cutting off stuff is that, frankly, Windows 132 is so unruly they can't reel it in, but if they try, then Windows becomes useless. Which is them trying to push Windows Store apps. At what point can they cut, you know, backwards compatibility? Who knows? They seem to be trying. I mean, Windows 8 had the desktop as an app. Think about that. Anyway, let's get back to work. So here we're going to mark all these as a seam. What? No, view. So that should unwrap. You know what? Let's have it be like that. So mark seam. And then Do I need to do this as well? Actually, I don't need to mark this as the same, so let's do clear. For some reason there's no clear seam in the drop down there. Is there actual keyboard shortcut? Let's try it like this. There we are. So I'm expecting this will kind of fold out like that. Now I need to make a UV map here for a light map. So we make sure we operate on the light map layer. I think it's gonna work out right. There we are. Looks about, oh no, there's some stretching here. You know what? There we are. There we are. That should be good. Okay. Not the best use of light mapping, but you'll have a equivalent texture size. Thankfully, everything is quads because we didn't really do any end guns, so that's good. So Big O says Windows 10s is the way they want to go, complete lockdown, and Windows RT as well, and stuff like that. You can argue whether that's good or bad. It has merits both ways. I argue that it's horrible, but yeah. So selected objects only because haha. Whoop, no. There we are. Content, meshes, crossbeams. And we're gonna call this one small fountain. And there we are. Import. Oh, I shouldn't have done the materials. Whoops. Okay. There we are. Haven't done any character animation. I'm gonna say no. So, not exactly right, but basically no. A lot of what I do is rigid body. I do some skeleton, but when I have skeletons where like I have to deform vertexes, I'm not so much on that. But like for skeleton to, let's say, you know, I'm trying to look around for example, like a hinge or something like that on a, you know, on a door or whatever, that's fine. I was wanting to get into character animation a little bit ago. The idea was I was trying to come up with an animation style. So there's kind of two main animation styles for 2D. There is hand-drawn keyframes and in-betweens, and there's puppeting. One thing I was thinking of was having a 3D asset in the scene and have that be a rough animation at full frame rate or whatever. And then doing my file render with that layer disabled, like on a separate layer, and then painting in with like hand-drawn frame by frame, and see how that would work. Because at that point you just have to follow the secondary layer and how it moves, and then just not include secondary layer in your composition and have the hand-drawn afterwards. I was gonna see how that would work, but I've just never had the chance to try. That was actually gonna be something I was gonna do if the animation, the educational animation on my Twitter, the multi-GPU thing, would take off. If that would give me, a big amount of money to, to work with and to, exist off of, I was then gonna start doing some fictional stuff with character animation. And try out different art styles, 2D and 3D. Oh. Thank you, Unreal Legend, for the host. Okay, so what do you ask, though? Because I might be able to answer the question regardless, because, But do I have a lot of experience with that? Not really. I have the most experience with rigid body and, like, hinges and stuff like that. Okay, so now I have to give two different ones, so let's do road here. Let's do a duplicate there. Voxel 25 cm. So in voxel size here, gonna be 25. Save. And then we're going to apply that here. There we are. You might be able to see what I'm planning on doing right now. Voxel size 25. Come on. Alright, let's go to snap of 5. Apparently need to go to snap of 1. So are you doing, should I do 25? And then 1/9, or sorry, yeah. 12.5. Only have a few things rendered some 20 years ago. Managed several moves in data formats. Dozens of sketches gone missing. Still pisses you off when you think about it. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of stuff with 3D over years. So rotation would be around the y-axis 90. Let's see how this works. 100. Actually, let's go to 50 there. Okay, let us see how this works. Let's do a save. We'll do play map density. Well, I should actually increase the size of this a little bit. Starting at 64, probably want to do 128. Yeah, that's good. Let's see, choose me 6. Oh, that's way too much. But it looks kind of uniform though, which is nice. Officially brought to you by Coca-Cola. Yeah. They don't pay me, they just keep me awake. Right. Excuse me. That looks stupid. But in a charming way. I think I'm actually probably gonna put some around here. They ask if I'm not a coffee person. Oh, I just threw it out. Okay, well, not really. But I have been drinking a lot of Tim Hortons lately. Because there's a 24-hour one right nearby. Hopefully this will look charming. Well, I wasn't looking for a Tim Hortons cup because I have one, but I also have an extra large I had today. What, Tim Hortons once never went back? Okay. That was pretty good. Which may want to decrease the impulse a little bit, however that will affect the impulse of the waterfall over there. Or not, just leave it like this and just have it be a nutso thing. Now I'll decrease it. Okay, which means we're gonna have to expose a new variable. So in waterfall spawner at H, view property, Excuse me. Impulse multiplier. Impulse multiplier. And up here we're going to set impulse multiplier equals 10,000. So now we're going to rebuild. That should set the impulse multiplier to what it normally is for waterfall, but it'll give us a control that we can change the editor for the fountain. We can make it smaller. So what was your Tim Hortons experience? And by the way, I should say, I don't like your donuts. No offense to people who work at Tim Hortons, but yeah. Thanks, Mir. Maybe at some point I might do another stream. I don't know. I just like trying to be consistent, because if I'm going to do a show on stream, I might as well be consistent about it. So let's drop this down by a factor of there, so. So now without messing with the waterfalls that already exist, I should be able to make these be a little more contained. Save. Now let's see us in game now. So it should have a 10-fold smaller impulse. Yeah, that's needs a little more. Needs a little more oomph. What am I doing? So 10,000 is too much, 1,000 is way too little. Let's try 5,000. Actually, no, let's go 4,000. Let's try again. Nope, need way more. Let's try 6,000. I'm sure it's just me, but it looks like the 10,000 is more constrained than the 6,000 for some reason, even though it should be bigger and more unruly. But probably just multiple collisions. If you have a bunch of objects nearby each other, they're going to want to bump and transform when. It's like taking a tennis ball, putting it on top of a basketball, and dropping him. The tennis ball's going to go flying. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to need a bit more impulse. Let's try 8,000. Looks a little dumb, but Shouldn't be a big deal. Probably looks charming. Good enough.
Finally found you. Finally found what I thought I wanted. Was it about you?
So snap increment of 100.
A fear of never knowing love would come to me. Baby, just a lonely soul. Running out of rose-colored glasses. Should I just let go? Ooh, can save us. Ooh, can
What's the movement would you go? Is it stuck somewhere? Okay, well, never mind then. Let's hope I can move all of the waterfall assets. With one movement, but the movement indicator doesn't want to show up, so do what you can, right? Okay, I see.
ooh, can save us. Ooh, can save us.
Maybe it just stuck. Maybe it was because I was adjusting values over here. Maybe it just decided to hide itself. So I get a lot of coughs today. Save here. Hey, welcome to the chat. Just so people know, I don't refer to people by their name until they speak in chat, just in case they're trying to lurk. So if you want me to refer to you by your name, then say something, and I will say it. I don't know what's going on with that. It keeps bugging us lately. Okay, so for now, that should be good enough for a sample water fountain. Looks kind of dumb, but whatever. Hopefully dumb in a charming way, as I say. That's our bridge. It's our stable. We're going to need to add some torches. We need to add some houses. I'm thinking probably, as I was saying earlier, I'm not sure if it was on stream or after stream. I think it was on stream, doing one 4x4 and one 4x9, and just duplicating it a bunch for the demo, because I'm trying to push this out the door. I want to get the ball rolling on it. This is going to be the annoying one, so is Cathedral. I think I had to do the castle wall. Okay, 50, boom and boom, and then rotate into place. And when we build lighting, they'll reline up.
When you're too busy chasing the clouds.
previously had bars here, and I actually kind of want to do the bars again, but, you know, not right now. Okay, so Blender, save, we open decoration base. We're gonna delete this asset. Cube, let's have it be 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 30 centimeters. Ah, cool. So the comment was that Total Biscuit did a top 20 Steam sales under $5, and Mount & Blade Warband was one of them. You haven't really played Mount & Blade Warband in a long... Well... Should play it fairly recently now I think of it, but yeah. So now I'm going to... go into object mode there, and then do each of these guys here, do subdivide. And then we'll do so then sign, we're gonna call this one handle. We're gonna do another one we're gonna call flame, but we're going to assign cool. We're gonna call this one flame. I don't know why I didn't add that there. Sure, why not? Okay. Someone watching a video will probably scrub back and be like, yeah, you pressed a button, but I missed it live. Anyway, right, so let's do here. So I wanted to make it unwrapped like that, so. Mark seam. I think this is gonna work out right. Yeah, okay. So the two flaps folded up and the centerpiece is rolled out. Oh, I didn't do that on the light map. That's okay, now I have the same UVs for either. Doesn't matter because I throw the UVs from main material anyway. Save as decoration torch. Export FBX. Textures. Okay, so now in Unreal Engine, do an import. Material, do not import materials or textures. Shoot. Don't save. I wonder what I did wrong. I forgot to reload the file, so... yeah. Let's try that again. But yeah, it's nice having a 24-hour Tim Hortons that's, you know, short walk away. Cool. Let's do wood. No, we can't do that. Materials. Cross streams. Duplicate. It's gonna be torchwood. So in here we're gonna drop down the size to 10 centimeters. Sorry, we need to just drop down. Cool. So then in, excuse me, there's cross frames here. Torch wood. I guess we are going to need some offsets. Oh no, that's based on the world position, right? Ooh, that could be a problem. Yeah, okay. I should have had it be UV based. Oh well. Duplicate, torch, flame. Fuse albedo. So we gotta make sure it aligns properly now. Oh no, because we're subtracting object position, so it'll be fine. We just need to have an offset of come on. So you xz offset of 5, a uyz offset of 5, and let's see, does that okay, it works. I also need a u and v yz or xy, sorry. 5. There we are. Got the same thing with Torchwood here. So all the U's and the XYV. Okay, so look over here. What's going to change? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Save. There we are. Be in there so it doesn't look like it's going to catch fire. It doesn't actually matter. So now we have that, we can then start adding some lights. So point light. Light color, saturation just a little bit, but have it be a bit more on this spectrum. There we are. Effects world, cast shadows, yes, but have it be static light. Playing any games lately when I have free time? Mostly just StarCraft mods. Attenuation radius. Let's do 5,000. No, let's do 1,000. That's not gonna work. Okay. Well, I know I can do. No. These two, yep. Down and down. Put these all the way in the corner here. Wait a minute, is it not axis aligned? No, it is. Okay. Weird. Now let's make it a bit larger, or a bit further out there. So yeah, most of what I play is StarCraft mods. Honestly, the same StarCraft mod over and over and over again. You know what? Of course, now I can't see crap. Nah, let's forget about that. Let's have these two here. And now we're going to do a build. A light. Source radius, we're going to have it be 20 centimeters, or 10 centimeters. So that way it will extend over the sides of that. And now we're going to do another light build. Invert and hang, I could. Probably just want to hang it there, but it'll look like it's burning down the place. Yeah, mirror's right, this looks dumb. Okay. So let's go over here. Just have it hanging there, why not? Works for Minecraft. under there. There. Now let's try building. Yeah, it needs more than 2, but let's see what the bounce lighting does. Sorry about that. So I don't want to overpower, because it's supposed to be daytime, right? You shouldn't see a whole lot of, you know, lighting detail. How's everyone been for the last couple days, by the way? So for anyone who's new here, we usually stream Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at around 9 p.m. Eastern to around 11 p.m. Eastern. I'm really curious how the bounce light on the roof will affect things. So we usually stream around that time. And all development is done on stream. Yeah, add torches there, there, and over there as well. Or over there as well, sorry, it's on that side. Oh, it was the other side. There. Probably going to take longer for emitting photons because I have 2 extra lights in the scene. Maybe I wanted to increase the attenuation radius a little bit as well. Because 10 meters is not a whole lot. funny we're actually seeing the emitting photons be... Yes, there's the Star Trek reference. I don't really watch Star Trek, but I know that one. I know I'm just disappointing a lot of people with my geek credit right about now. Don't watch Star Trek, don't really watch much... well, I don't watch any Doctor Who. Oh, I saw the clip from the episode. But yeah. Now map processing is going to start hitting its time. Excuse me. Yeah. So Big O says they don't even watch Doctor Who and they don't even know where to start watching it. Yeah, I don't know. No idea. I mean, if I like the show, it's great, but I just don't know anything about... Well, I don't really watch any of them. I barely watch anything. So apparently adding point lights to this scene really slows down the build. At least a step. So I'm confused why HDRI maps are so much quicker even if they have to do all the bouncing and stuff like that. And directional lights and stuff like that. Maybe I'll start processing light maps off stream. They're gonna take a while. Oh, it already started over there. Okay. There's just a big old gap in nothing. Well then. I know some people have like very long build times for lighting. So Big O said that the Next Generation episode with the 4 lights was great, but in their opinion, not much else was. They preferred DS9. Cool. So what sci-fi have I really got into? Mostly MechWarrior when I was growing up. MechWarrior Battletech. Honestly, I've been kind of falling out of Star Wars. The last couple just... I mean, episode 7 was pretty good. But yeah. StarCraft premiere, yeah. StarCraft was interesting for the story to start off with, but near the end, especially Legacy of the Void, was kind of like, okay, you're filling up the the narrative with things and the plot's going where. Okay. Not much substance to it, I don't think, though. I mean, that's not what they're going for. They're going for something that was kind of, you know, appeal, but. But yeah, at some point, just, you know, things like May the Force be with you and stuff like that, just I'm like, I don't care anymore, Star Wars. Did I like Rogue One? It was an entertaining movie, but didn't really have it. I mean, there's a difference between saying, like, is a movie entertaining? Yeah, but did it have any, like, special meaning or anything like that? Not really. It was, yeah. It was interesting and entertaining, but I think it kind of lost its intrinsic value of Star Wars. Fun to watch, but right? So let's say our light map build is around like 15 minutes now, so either we're going to have to drop down our quality going forward, or we're just going to do light map building off stream. This is going to be about 15 minutes, what's kind of projection for. Needs more Jar Jar, Jar says. Ha so Big O says that was a different take, more for adults than for kids, departure from the others. Yeah. It's one of the main things about the first, you know, the prequels, I mean. It was kind of between George Lucas being like, I want Star Wars to be more for kids because they buy action figures and stuff. And I want to make political commentary about the war in Iraq. He's kind of doing both at the same time. It wasn't, you know. I mean, it's fine. I don't think he pulled off either, though. That being said, when I was, you know, 1999. Was 99 that it came out? So it would have been like 13. I saw it when it came out, and I mean, it was entertaining for a kid. Yeah, and Trade Wars and stuff. There's more than that, but yeah. So I found even episode 1 entertaining as a kid, but is there anything, you know, magical about Star Wars for me? Not really. Yeah, Blade Runner is another one I missed. I never actually watched Blade Runner. Didn't watch a lot of movies growing up, to be honest at all. Played a lot of video games though, especially SNES and N64. They said that, and NES as well, but, you know. Just saw the tweet of Mario Kart 64 turning 20 just a couple days ago. And it's like, oh, great. I played that when I was... I was like 10. And I know a lot of people say a lot of good things about Blade Runner and stuff like that too, but, you know. But my encoder is overloaded right now, so I am dropping frames. Honestly, this might be good. It's only a light glow, but might be visible enough, so let's try saving. Hopefully it'll save. Come on, do it. You wanna do it? Do it! Do it! Do it! No. Oh, that one haven't saved. Yay! I don't know what its complaint is, but whatever. So now it's saved. We can grab these two assets and copy them. Come on. Is that the distance or is the air distance? So a little less than the torch width. Yeah, okay. Probably crank up the intensity a little bit, but that'll be just fiddling around. What's the best, most recent Blender book out there? I don't know. I don't read books. I learn by doing. You mean white papers, Durs? Unless you do mean white pages, in which case white pages on the phone book. Because there's phone books these days, right? I get all my information from the yellow pages. No, yeah, white papers. Okay. Gonna save. Hey, Develop Games, welcome to the chat. That's okay because it built fine once before. So now let's go into game. We're not going to be able to see from inside this one down here because it hasn't been built yet. It's just dynamic lighting. But over here, see what it looks like with a bit of light in there. So let's look there, let's go back to the other side here and see what the difference is. Should probably turn down the roughness of this a little bit. Or turn up the roughness, I mean. So you don't get as much like artifacting with the reflections here. Just over here, diffuse albedo, center roughness, let's do 0.1. No. 0.1 would be fun. So now, kind of mute it over there. Okay. So then that's it for today. We added a couple new fountains, which are kind of messed up, but whatever. Hopefully it'll be charming. And then we got this is not the new lighting. It hasn't been built yet, but this one over here. It's a new one. Yeah, I might actually be doing another stream, I don't know. Like before Sunday, I don't know, maybe, maybe not. Maybe I can actually lower all of these lights a little bit, so that way it would light up down here a little bit more. I want to have it roughly in line with the side there, but if I have it down here, it might be a bit more usable, since we can't see the roof anyway. Either way. So, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Was the one for you. Ooh, I'm never, never, never getting over you. Ooh, you know I fall to pieces for the things you do. Ooh, I'm never, never, never getting over you. You know it's true. Was the one for you. Ooh, I'm never, never, never getting over you. Ooh, you know I fall to pieces for the things you do.